Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your no Shorty, and we're going to review some things this week which you might be thinking, that already came out a couple weeks ago if you're an American. Well, there was a thing that happened in America. A lot of stuff got delayed going to the UK. It's now arrived here, including Fury. It's an Al Ewing one, and it's an Al Ewing doing a story across a character's multiple time points, which he's done before. Look at you, Ant-Man and Wasp. And I wasn't 100% behind some of this. The main crux of it comes down to, in a single issue, you have so much to go off, and one of the things he's doing is trying to write in a way which makes sense for the time the story was set. Now, his way of doing this was actually to write how I imagine the comic books are written, not the way people actually spoke, or if it would have been like really OTT stereotypical kind of stuff. And it rubbed against me a little bit. I didn't quite get on with it. But that's just like one of those things that Al Ewing can do, and why not do it well? Because he does. It is effective. It worked. It did what he needed to do. Just because it wasn't particularly my cup of tea doesn't mean it was a bad story. And we have that actually writ large here, because this is the same kind of thing, but doing one giant-size issue rather than a miniseries. So you actually get to see him play around with this repeatedly and prove that he's good at this kind of writing. And it is a great story. It's interestingly told from the point of view of contemporary Nick Fury back to Howling Commandos, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., when he was white, and then back to Howling Commandos or Nick Fury when he was in the army. And each time period has its own completely self-contained story. Each one could be read just as it is over a dozen pages, and they're all absolutely fantastic. He's a really good writer. He has a good knack for timing and pacing. He does really good action sequences, and he has some great characterization in there as well, through dialogue to a certain degree. But again, it is hammy. If it's going to bug you the way it bugged me for that first one, it might not be 100% your cup of tea, but I think the fact that he shows how easy it is for him to jump between these different time frames shows that this is something that he's good at doing, not just doing it for the sake of making it like an easy way of showing a time period. He's doing it because he enjoys doing it, he's good at doing it. And the story that you get over the 3 periods is actually a really interesting one. We have this idea, when you get to the end of it, of Nick Fury going from a soldier to a spy to a super spy, and then being a watcher, and having a conversation between Nick Fury Sr. and contemporary Nick Fury, about this idea that maybe being the police isn't the right thing for people with this much power. It's kind of put in slightly different terms than that, but that's the crux of it, and it's a conversation I've seen happen in other comic books. There was the Superman bit where he was talking to his son, pretty much doing the same thing. Tom Taylor hit the nail on the head with that one as well. And I like it. I like that it shows contemporary, younger comic book creators are seeing the world and using that as inspiration rather than mythology. And when I say young, I don't necessarily mean like guys or girls in their 20s. I'm talking about people who pay attention to the world in a contemporary way. I don't think Al Ewing is younger than me, but he still seems to have a knack for looking at the world and taking his beats from there. But one of my favourite beats in this isn't actually one that I get from the real world, or it is to a certain degree, but it's more, I think he's seen what happens in Marvel movies and TV series at the moment. Because Marvel has a bit of a tendency at the moment to have the bad guy or organization for a movie or a TV series be somebody who actually has sympathetic aims. Quite often they are what the Americans would deem as like far left, but for my mind they're just progressives, maybe a little bit anarchistic at times, and they are trying to change society for the betterment of everyone rather than just a ruling elite, be that either through patriarchy or white supremacy. They are about tearing that down, and they have no problem using violence against state, because state has monopoly on legal violence. Now, what Marvel movies and TV shows do there is make sure that these people also do something truly heinous, to make absolutely certain that they cannot be sympathised with. Now, you could say it's down to an editorial decision, where they want to make sure that leftist things are not seen as good, or it could just be a case of they want to make sure that everyone has a very clear-cut understanding of who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. Either way, I don't agree with that. I think it's bad writing. Al Ewing does good writing, though. We know this. I've spoken at length about how much I like Al Ewing's writing. And what he does here is have this character who is an avowed anarchist, part of an anarchist organisation, who is trying to get hold of sci-fi gubbin to go and change the world, but for the good of everyone. Now, we could be dealing with an unreliable narrator on her own story here. Maybe she is actually a bad guy, and she's using the trappings of anarchism to take control of this super powerful thing and screw things up. But I don't think Al Ewing would write something like that. I think he's quite happy with the idea that there is people out there who want to change the world. They're willing to go against the state to do it, and they're doing it to take down the state in a good way. Throw into that the fact that we also get Nick Fury Sr. going off into his whole multiverse thing so he can engage in a whole bunch of what-if stories. I mean, you've got like this high-minded political kind of take there, and also just having some fun in the Marvel universe with the fact that we have a multiversal thing and now a canon reason why Nick Fury is going to go and do what-if stories. It's brilliant. It's a lot of fun. There's also some nice in-jokes in there, taking the mickey out the Watcher for, like, on this one occasion, I will interfere. And there's also a lot of fun to be had with the time period this stuff's setting, and how it jumps between them, and showing like difference in technology and lifestyle choices. And genuinely from start to finish, it is a great book. And because it is just a one-shot, self-contained story, I would advise, if you have the means, pick up a copy. I think you'll enjoy it. That's it for me today, though. I'll be back later in the week with more reviews. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.